Hey everybody, welcome to Lending Leadership, the Creative Brief. I'm Rach.
And I'm Ren. Welcome everybody. We have a space here for loan officers to learn more about marketing. And that's really what Rachel and I wanted to come together and do for everybody. Put our backgrounds together and give you guys an opportunity to get some bite-sized pieces that you can take with you every morning with your coffee or your tea to get your day started.
So, do you ever start in a career like maybe out of college and you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this? Well, I feel like nobody ever starts and says, I want to be in mortgages when I grow up. And yet here we are in mortgages in the marketing space. And, I think the way we got here is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would have to say so. I mean, you had a background, in radio, Rachel? You were in radio.
Yeah.
You've done podcasting in your background. And for me, it's all been about direct response and working with entrepreneurs in all different categories, medical, dentists, chiropractors, and now we're with loan officers and having a blast doing it.
It's really funny when you can look back at your career, right? And say like, okay, well, I don't know how this strange path and how one thing led to another. But when you can look back and see, wow, all right, all of these steps have led me to where I am right now. And all of those skills and crazy things I learned along the way have put me in a place where you can use all of those things. Like before I got into mortgage, actually it kind of fell out of the sky. I didn't even know, this was even a thing. And I was giving voice and acting lessons to kids and was looking for something a little different. And honestly, this position fell out of the sky. And when I was talking with Tom Mills, a friend of mine was like, Rach, you gotta talk to this guy. They're looking for someone. I think you'd be perfect. We have this great conversation. At the end of the conversation, I was like, this is great, but I don't know the name of your company and I don't know what you do. It was like this very strange happenstance. Like one thing didn't really, it just kind of fell out of the sky. And, here we are. And Corrine, I know you have a crazy story of how you came to HMA.
Well, I don't know if that means it's kind of similar to yours in some regards in what you just said. I mean, I lost my job in 2020, lost a couple accounts, and I was in an agency where it was just a couple of us, so we were eating everything that we killed basically, and we were just kind of hitting a lull period where we were searching for business, and I was starting to look around a little bit, and ended up making a networking list, literally like on my notepad, like call this person, call that person next. And at one point I picked up the phone and called Dave, who was at a conference like somewhere. I think he was in, I don't know if it was the Pittsburgh or Denver area, and picked up the phone and I said, listen, wanted to chat with you. I don't know if you know anybody that needs help with marketing, but you know a bit about my background. And, I have a lot of experience with entrepreneurs. And he basically said, well, when can you start? I need to get some things done on Monday. I can't pay you very much. And it's like, well, that sounds like a great opportunity. I can't wait. I mean, you want to talk about not knowing what you're doing. But, as the conversation went on, Dave and I started laughing and got into some things that I found out pretty quickly I could help him with. And look where we are now. I mean, we've got a department, a marketing department within a successful mortgage firm. And we're helping hundreds of loan officers a day, whether it be the ones that work with us, the ones online. And that is kind of what inspired me personally to join you, Rachel, and do this podcast.
Yeah, so let's back up a little bit. Let's give everybody a little insight into who we are and what we do. So, Corrine, why don't you start?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm the vice president of marketing at HMA Mortgage. So we've got a team of about 7, and we have different divisions within the department. And really, we treat our loan officers like their clients. So we're pretty customized with how we handle their marketing strategy and branding. And that really came from literally, just as I said, Dave and I just working together one-on-one in the beginning about 4.5 years ago to what it's become now. I really take a lot of pride in just working directly with loan officers and helping them build their business.
Yeah, and I love that client approach because it's not like that in every mortgage company. And I'm the newbie on the team. I joined HMA this year as the director of brand and media relations. And I love being in that space of just helping people really brand themselves. That's something big we're going to get into in this podcast, branding yourself, because a lot of times when you're dealing with clients, they don't necessarily know, or I hate to say it, or care what company you're with, they buy you first and foremost. So, really making sure that you are putting yourself out there as the thought leader, that you are branding yourself, that you are out and playing in traffic and talking with people in a different way. And it's like wherever you are, really, whatever company you work for, you can think of yourself as working for yourself to brand yourself first and foremost. And so I love helping our loan officers shine and sparkle in a different way, and help them just do what they're doing, but a little bit better, maybe kind of support them in different ways, whether it's video or podcasting or to tell their story. And so I love being a part of this team that we're creating. And I want to kind of focus in on that aspect of treating loan officers like their clients, because I think in a lot of companies, that's not necessarily like that. The mortgage company, the marketing team within a mortgage company is there just to make flyers and, do basic things for the overarching brand, but not necessarily for the individual loan officer.
Well, yeah, I hear it all the time. I mean, loan officers coming to me all the time just saying, I don't know what even went out in our CRM. Our marketing department doesn't communicate that to us. Or, we reached out, we had a custom project or something we needed to get done and didn't hear back for 2 weeks. So, a lot of conversations that we're having in the field, result around kind of understanding and seeing what other marketing departments, other firms are like, and how can we treat our loan officers differently. They are our clients. So, being on the phone with them once a month, customizing their campaigns, that personal branding element that you talked about, Rachel, you're so good at working with them directly on that. Finding what really makes them tick is what sets them apart in the industry and what helps make all of us successful together. So I think that's what's fun about it. That's what's fun about doing a podcast like this, quite frankly, is just having open conversations about marketing in this specific category and space. And, I hope we have a lot of fun stories to tell too.
Yeah, and I really feel like for the people listening, watching, wherever you're finding this lovely Lending Leadership, the Creative Brief podcast, we really want to give you tangible, bite-sized things that you can implement into your business right away. And, a lot of times when we go to conferences, I'm a note taker. I take it seems like hundreds of pages of notes that I
She
have.
takes a lot of notes. So do I, guys. I
And I
love
have
notes.
one of these rewritable things. They're so fun. But, it's like
Old
pages
school.
and pages and pages of notes. And how many times do you come home from a conference and don't implement anything? So, if you're listening to this, I really would love you to dive in and come along the journey with us. And we hope to give you ideas that you can start implementing right away. And Corrine, I love that 15-minute aspect that you have, because this is like the foundation of what we stand on for our loan officers, right? Just that those 15-minute time blocks. And talk about that a little bit. I love how you just kind of came up with this. I'm like, it's brilliant and it's simple and it's just one of those things that you can start doing right away.
So we had a sales rally. Our sales rally kickoff was in May of this year. And, our department plans the rally. So I'm, micro focused with one of my team members on all the logistics around an event and making it successful. And then we had to help, all the speakers with their presentations. So my presentation naturally came last, as I know many of you would probably know. It's kind of like with your kids. You do everything for your kids and then you get back to yourself and you're like, oh, I need to do some things for myself too now after you handle everything for them. So that's kind of how I felt with the sales rally. And I'm like, well, I have about 15 to 20 minutes to speak. I'm like, what am I going to say in this period of time that's going to be dynamic or valuable or really help loan officers while I'm up on stage? And I just kept focusing on the fact that I only had 15 minutes. I was like, really like, oh, I only have 15 minutes. And then it just kind of hit me. I'm like, there's actually a lot that can be done in just 15 minutes. And I really just came up with a list of different marketing tips and strategies that loan officers can implement 15 minutes a day, or even 2 to 3 times a week if you don't have 5 days of a business week to do it. And we just developed really a lot of categories and information based around this theme and build it out a little bit. And it's a lot of what we're going to talk to you guys about during this podcast. So we want it to be simple. We want it to be brief, just like the title, the creative brief. And we want you guys to just come in at your schedule and be able to grab some great information about how to market your business and then go back to your day feeling inspired. I think that was kind of Rachel and I's goal. And it just came from really a brainchild idea around a talk that I really had no initial idea for, to be completely honest.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it's gotten somewhere to a place of value. So I'm excited to share more.
That's awesome. I love that, Corrine. And I'm so excited for what we're going to be doing here. We've got tons of ideas and ways that we can bring people information. We are in the thick of it with loan officers all the time in the marketing space. So really, really thrilled to share all the stuff that we hear from the front lines.
Yeah, what we want you guys to do right now is like, subscribe, and follow us. And we're really excited. The next bit that you come in for, we're going to get right into our first topic, so you don't want to miss it. Take care, guys.